Your film Bergers, Bergers and Shepards played at the TIFF International Film Festival and is now playing here in Zurich. That's why you're here, and we're here to talk about this film that's based on a novel from 2006 that sees a man disconnect from society, disconnect and connect with nature. So what led you towards telling the story yourself?
At first, it just felt okay. It's quite relevant to tell the story of someone who decides to leave the life he had built so far, which is in a city. It's around like material stuff. It's with many responsibilities but the kind of life we all know about. So in the film, we don't even show this life. We start right when he enters the new world he has chosen, which is south of France. He wants to become a shepherd. But then it just felt like, okay, it's based on a true story. And I could read the novel, of course, but also speak with Matthias and even do his the journey like through south of France up on the Alps, and it just felt like, oh, this guy had the courage to change his life, but also he needed to be naive also in a way, just to jump in it and not knowing exactly what would happen, and actually not only good things happen to him. It's quite rough. It has some like very, very rough patches. Well, it's worth thinking about like the life you really want to have, be it being a shepherd or anything else, but just reconsider, like, am I doing the thing I feel I am meant to be doing? Am I at the place where I want to be? And especially, we've been through a pandemic. We've been through different kind of crises. Some are still going on. I'm thinking about the climate change crisis, and since the world can switch, or like anything can happen, and we've seen it with the pandemic, like all of a sudden it all stopped, like for most of us, all what we were doing, and it felt also okay that the world doesn't have to be exactly the way it used to be. It can be something else, and why not follow this impulse? This is what Matthias did, and this is what inspired the film.
Even though the story is from back in 2006, there's relevance to it, something universal to it. Was that something where the story needed to be adjusted and changed for you, or just taken as an inspiration?
Yes. We adjusted to different facts that were not so. I believe in 2006, the climate change or the environmental crisis was already like going on, but it wasn't so upfront that like what we are experiencing now. So this informed a little bit of the film without being the main topic, and the way shepherds work with animals or with the environment, be it the wolves, or like the situation changed. So the film also adapted, and for many other reasons too. A film, like when you're inspired by a book, of course you have to adapt. A book takes more than 11, 12 hours to read, and it's a lot more intellectual than a film, which is very sensitive. You receive the images, the sound, in a very large scale, and especially for this kind of setting that we have in this film, we are in nature. We work with thousands of sheep and literally thousands. So and big mountains, of course.
And how was that directing? It's in a way you're parallel directing. Someone else is directing a sheep and you're directing them. How do you like?
Or they are directing me.
Exactly.
Sometimes they are.
So how do you give up the control there, or maybe try to just get what you want to capture?
Well, actually, preparation for this film was huge, and it took many years. We had to adapt a lot to what is the real life or the real cycle of animals and shepherds, because they live in south of France during winter in farms, but then they move up to the Alps during the summertime, so the grass is green and fresh in the Alps, but we cannot do any scout location during winter, so we had to prepare at least a year in advance and even the years before in order to see the landscape in which we were going to film, because it's not a place that we can reach in any way during winter and even spring. Because it's covered by snow, like no one goes there. And so we had to prepare because of this, but also just because we are working with so many different herds, with different shepherds and farmers, and so it was so complicated to get what we needed for the film, but at the same time to get the proper human relationship with a lot of people, not only one flock or one place, but since we were moving with different herds, it was like at a certain point just felt, okay, we're not going to be able to make it. But we did, amazingly. At a certain point, I just decided I would let also reality hit my preparation, and it's just it makes the film maybe more lively, or and even my work. I mean, it's like working with a crew that is quite flexible, working with actors that anyway they were prepared for it. That my preparation with them was, of course, to know how to handle taking care of animals, and so it's safe for them, it's safe for the animals, and they look professional in the film. But a lot of it also was just to let yourself be open heart, open mind to anything that would happen, which we haven't prepared this way. But this is what happened to us a lot during preparation, during writing for myself, because I went there a lot to be able to feel what I was working with. As a script writer and then as a filmmaker, but then I wanted the actors and I wanted my crew to keep this openness in order. So look, we are so well prepared, but at the same time, if anything happens, if the flock decides not to follow the path we have chosen, and even with good shepherds, we try to keep the flock in one direction, but at a certain point, like when one animal moves, it's quite possible that all the hundreds of other animals that will follow will move the same direction. And at a certain point, let's say they went through a gas station, which was this is not what we expected, but it's just even better, like the mix with modern world and this ancient way of walking with a herd of thousands of sheep. It's just I think it's part of the magic of the film.
Yeah, I agree. There's something magical about it, and making it up that mountain, it feels like we along with him ascend there, and we finally get to the place where he wants to be. It really is special that way. The way that you film them as well is a bit in a more flat, higher aspect ratio. Was that to capture like the tallness of the mountains as well?
When we think of nature, often like we feel like opening the frame and shoot in panoramic, we say in French, to have a very large frame, and with lenses that will open the frame this direction, but it felt okay, but in this case we need to see high as well, so our aspect ratio was chosen in order to film the mountains as well. Yeah.
Working with actors and non-actors, to, I guess, bring it back to that, like letting reality into fiction. How was that? Like, because it's not easy to tell who is acting, who's not, if you like to seamlessly kind of blend into the movie. How did you go about like when to use them and when to work with actors?
When I was scouting and just researching for the script, at the same time I was like, I'm so interested by I have a documentary eye working, and also it's not the first time I work with non-professional actors. So I've been doing camera work before, so direction of photography, and I see when someone has it and can be in front of a camera, that the camera would love that person, and when I kind of feel it's possible that this person be an actor, then I'll work toward that direction. But and it's very I mean, for the professional actors, it's amazing to work with people who, in this case, know a lot about like their body, the way they work is so, they've been working with animals for years and years, and the hands, and there are like details that don't lie, and it's to me it's like a gift to be able to film the way they speak, the way they act, the way they, because it's so natural to their environment. So they teach a lot to professional actors, and professional actors in their on the other way around, they also open a ground to play. So because they're confident, they know their skills as actors, and they can influence non-professional actors, and me, my work in this is just to give a space that in which they will feel not evaluated. Of course, we always do think, okay, is it going to be good for the purpose of the film? But at the same time, they have to be confident. They have to know that they can try anything, and I will be there to support them, to guide them. But at the same time, I want them to feel free. So I think the professional actors, non-professional actors, but real people who know their skills in such an environment. And me as a director, it was, and I could add the camera in it also. The camera work being very flexible, and in a way doing a dancing or a choreography with whatever happens with animals or humans or weather. So this is something that kept us also quite, I don't know, like alive, and always a little bit of adrenaline.
Bringing in that reality in certain moments, even for your actors in a scene with, for example, like the lamb, when that part of it feels like, you know, where are the lines of this is acting, this is actually happening right now? How do you go about capturing a moment like that? I myself experienced the birth of a lamb during scouting. I was visiting a shepherd and an animal, a ewe in English, which is the female for a sheep, gave birth in an unexpected moment, and at the exact same moment, the shepherd told me, like, oh, I have this call from a neighbor. I have to give help to she has a problem with a cow or something. So she left, and I was myself alone with this ewe giving birth to a baby sheep, a sheep, and a lamb. So and my only knowledge at that time was from the book by Matthias, since the film is inspired by your books. But then I saw, okay, the lamb is coming like this with the hooves.
Yeah,
the feet.
Yes, and not like a human babies are coming like this. Okay, so I said, okay, it's all right. Yes, I can help, but the animal was doing very good, and I knew I couldn't script such a scene. But I was expecting things would happen, and I knew if we were open, like, to anything that can happen, it will happen, because you're working with you're working with animals, and you're working with something that is so alive. We're doing it for real, walking for many days to reach the Alps, and so when it happened, it wasn't expected, but the actors knew that I was expecting from them, and the camera operator also knew that it was expected from him to cope with reality. And you are totally right when you say that, like, the emotion of the character is quite mingled with the emotion of the actor. So with good actors, you're not supposed to see how they are acting. But in this case, I mean, we are, like, experiencing really the emotion of not only of our character Mathias, but of Félix Antoine Duval, the actor who is playing and not playing at the same time, because it really is an experience. He is sharing with us. He is generous enough to let us, like, film it. But we were all, I think, the crew, and we were all invested in it, and so emotionally invested while doing what our work is.
Exactly, yeah. You embrace that sort of life, and I think that comes through in the narrative bits, and maybe the bits that you planned for it in a sense. Love runs through the story in a way where we have a love interest, Elise, that is more than just a love interest. She's more in the film, and also the love for nature, the love for the sheep, for the animals, seems to be at the core. And I assume that was a big focus for you, to stay on that love and the appreciation for life.
I was hoping this film, of course, I wanted to make it out of love for the people we're working with, for the animals, for the nature, and out of respect and truly, like, a real honest interest in working with them, knowing about them, and just experiencing something that ultimately I was hoping the audience would leave this film with a sense of, okay, I got a shot of life, and I want to embrace life. That's what I was hoping. That's what I was sharing with the people I was working with. And after I saw a first cut in the editing room, it felt okay. I think it's there. And also I was kind of struck by the fact that, hey, it's a love story. I kind of didn't know I was doing a film so much about love.
Yeah, it really comes through. And
thank you. I'm glad you say so.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.